Hey everybody, how you doing? Really excited because I'm going to show you today pretty much one of my most favorite beef dishes. Okay, so it's a Moroccan stew or an Eastern Mediterranean stew, and I'm going to show you how I cook this one. Okay, so first things first, a little bit of beef. So we've got some minced beef there, about 250 grams. Remember, always for two people, that's what I'm cooking for. So, you know, measure up, measure down, however many you're serving. I've got a tin of chopped tomatoes, so this is about a 400-gram tin of chopped tomatoes. I've got some feta cheese, so I'm going to use about 100 grams of feta cheese. I've got a courgette, just one courgette. Probably won't use all of that, but I'm going to use the courgette. As well as that, I've got some couscous, there's two of us, so about 120 grams, okay, so about 60 grams per portion. I've got my Moroccan seasoning, which is absolutely gorgeous. I love this stuff. We're going to use a tablespoon of Moroccan seasoning. The harissa paste as well, so harissa paste is really lovely. Again, it's a tablespoon. You may be getting used to this now because when I cook, it's normally a tablespoon of something. I've got some chicken stock, so the chicken stock I'm going to use with the couscous, and I've also got some beef stock as well. And I love a bit of garlic, so I've got not one but two cloves of garlic to put in this as well. I've got some olive oil that I'm going to use in the couscous mix, and I'll show you that a little bit later. We've got some water to put in as well, and of course I've got some olive oil for my frying. So let's get on with it. Right, so let me tell you where I've got to so far. So I've started to brown off the mince, so I'll put the mince in there. Pretty high heat, so wait for that to brown off. And then what I've done is I have added the garlic, so I put the garlic in. I've stirred that around now for about a minute. What I'm going to do now is I've got the Moroccan spice, remember a tablespoon. So I'm just going to add a tablespoon of the Moroccan spice. Okay, I've got that there. I'm just going to sort of stick that in around there, and then just mix it around. So you know, leave the garlic and Moroccan spice to you know, get into the beef for about a minute. Meanwhile, what you want to do is you want to get the kettle on, because we're going to have to do the couscous in a minute. Now remember, I said there's 120 grams of couscous. What that means is we're going to need 240 milliliters of boiling water to go in it. All right, so that's 60 grams per person. And when you make couscous, nice easy way, if you do 60 grams per person, you'll need 120 milliliters of water. So it's always twice as much in milliliters of water than it is of the actual couscous. What I've also done is I have I've sliced up the courgettes. They're not doing anything, they're just sitting in a flat frying pan at the moment. And I've also cut up the feta cheese. Remember I said about 100 grams of feta cheese would do. Right, we're ready for the next stage. We've had about a minute of cooking with the Moroccan spice and the garlic in. So let's have a go and stick in our chopped tomatoes. So remember, it's about a 400-gram tin of chopped tomatoes. I'm just going to stir that in quite nicely, nice and simple. Okay, and then the next tasty bit that we've got is going to be the harissa paste. So remember, I always use a tablespoon, so in it goes. There's a tablespoon of harissa paste. Okay, so that's gone in. Okay, so that's lovely inside there. All right, and look, that's going to literally I'm going to leave that now for about 10 minutes or so. And I'm going to leave it for the 10 minutes because I want the flavours to get into the beef, and obviously I want it to heat up a little bit. There's nothing else to go in there, so I've turned it down to sort of like a medium heat. So what I'm going to do is that I've picked up the wrong one then. What I'm going to do is I'm going to put into my couscous, I'm going to put a little bit of olive oil in there. Remember the chicken stock that we had, that I mentioned earlier? Okay, this is quite a large chicken stock, so I'm going to use about half of this. All right, that's going to be about 5 grams of chicken stock. Okay, so I'm going to put that in there. If you've watched some of my other videos, you'll know that I've made up a sort of ground salt and pepper mix, and that's exactly what I've just put in. So I'm going to grind some salt and pepper into the couscous. All right, and then what we're going to do, remember, 120 grams, double it, 240 milliliters. So 240 milliliters of the boiling water is going to go into the couscous. I'm going to keep stirring, and keep stirring just for a bit, just to get that going, just to melt the stock, or dissolve the stock I should say, in there. So I'm just going to do that, and then this will take 10 minutes. All right, the couscous, so about 10 minutes. That's about the right amount of time for your beef to be cooking. Now remember I said about a bit of beef stock, okay? So listen, I might not put it in this time, but it's an option for you. All right. So if you have, if you'd like to use the beef stock, then what you'll do is you will add a bit of water into your mixture. This one actually is not too bad, so it's quite nice actually. But you'll put a bit of water into your mixture and then add the beef stock, and it just gives it that extra beefy flavour in there, which is really quite nice. So, as I say, I'm just going to put a plate on top of the couscous now. So the couscous, I'm going to leave that now for 10 minutes. This is doing quite nicely. If your mince does start to dry out, nothing wrong with adding a little bit of water just to moisten it up there. See you in a bit. Right, so I want you to see everything cooking. Here we go. Look, you see, we can see the mince is in there, and it's going really nice. It smells lovely as well. And I've got the courgettes. Now look, the courgettes, what we're going to do is we're going to do these at the same time that the couscous is being done, and all we're doing literally is burning them. Okay, so they're burnt courgettes. So stick them in a frying pan, and I said a flat pan. If you can get a nice flat pan, it's going to be easier for you, and all we're going to do is we're just going to char them. Okay, so literally just burn them, that's it, nothing else. We're going to burn them, so they'll heat up quite nicely, they'll soften a little bit, and they're going to go on top of the stew in a little bit. So you can see what's going on, you can see what's happening. That's all happening at the same time. I've got the feta cheese which is being done. The couscous, as you can see, is under there. That's doing quite nicely. So I'm just going to recap whilst you're there. We had 250 grams of beef. Brown that up with a little bit of oil in your wok, your pan, whatever you're going to use. Stick in the garlic, right? So your chopped garlic clove, 1 or 2, however much you like, and at the same time put in your Moroccan spice. Stir that around for about a minute, and then put in your tomatoes. So I've got a can of chopped tomatoes, 400 gram can of tomatoes. Once that's done, if you'd like to add the beef stock, you can add the beef stock as well. So don't forget, a little bit of water, a little bit of beef stock in there, but definitely the harissa paste. That's what I put in there, just the paste. I left the beef stock out of this one. Whilst your couscous is doing, so remember, for 2 people, 120 grams of couscous, 240 ml of water. Stick in some olive oil, some black pepper, a little bit of salt in there as well, and about 5 grams of chicken stock. Okay, so a chicken stock cube, Put your water in, mix it up, and then leave that for about 10 minutes or so. If you leave it for a little bit longer, it doesn't matter, it will still be fine. Whilst your couscous is doing, then what you need to do is make sure that you get the frying pan on to char your courgette. Right, so we're getting there. Can you see what I mean now by just charring the courgettes? Okay, that's all you need to do. All right, so they're burnt. Remember, no oil with the courgettes at all. All right, so all you're doing is burning them in a flat pan. I've got them on quite a high heat. Hopefully you can see that the actual stew is still quite moist. I haven't had to add any water, so that's good, and that's going. The couscous is ready. Okay, so that's they're done. So the next time you see this, we're going to see it all plated up. Okay. Well, this is it, everybody. You can see it's all finished now. It's all steaming, piping hot. It's really lovely. So stick the couscous in the bowl, put your stew on top of it, put your charred courgette on top of that, and then on top of the courgette, stick your feta cheese. Okay, so that's it. Sort of Mediterranean or Moroccan stew for 2 people there. Bon appetit.